Hello guys, I am Dante Norks, and boy, it's been a while. Welcome back. I have changed. But as you can see from the description here, 2 days before the game comes out, I'm here to present to you my theories. I have been going over this time and time and time again to discover every last single detail. I've gone over the history of Resident Evil. I've gone over all the videos of 8, all the templates, and it's just to discover it. We're going to discover the answers together and see if I'm right. So, without further ado, we are going to press on. This is basically going to be cut down into 4 categories. We're going to start off with the story, basic and simple, and then we are going to move on to the theories. And the theories will range, they will go in order, they will be just wild guesses, just what I think, it's a possibility, but I'm not 100%, it's just, it could happen. The next one will be the possibilities. I'm like, this might happen, I'm slightly saying yes, but there could still be another thing to it. And the last will be definites, things I'm like, those are the ones that I'm sticking in, that I'm saying, yes, this is what this means, this is what happens, this is it. But disclaimer, these could all be wrong. Even the ones I'm certain about could be just, this is all poppycock, and you just have no clue what you're talking about, and you just got it wrong. It's much more simple or much more complicated. But that's what this is for. Another disclaimer before we begin is that the only things that I have looked at in terms of the game coming up is just the videos from the demos that I've played, all the trailers they brought out, and just pure analysis. I know that they have leaked online. I have not paid any attention to that. I want to be surprised when I play it. So this is all just randomly my theories. If it does match up, it purely is coincidence. Also, all the images that I will be using in this video are just ripped straight from Google Images, so I do not own any of them. They have just been taken from there, so you can probably find all these yourself from Google Images. This is my 2 days before it comes out, Resident Evil Village number 8 theories. So first off, of course, we have story. So the basis of the story that we basically know is Ethan, after years after the ordeal in Resident Evil 7, has, finally got up to a home life with Mia and has had a baby. But this baby has just been kidnapped by Chris Redfield, apparently, and he must go and save her in this village castle where she has been taken, full of wonderful people and some monsters, as go along with any Resident Evil. But in this story, we have certain characters. We have Ethan, who is making his return. We have Mia. Again, we'll go into this. Is she back? Is she dead? Who knows? We have Chris Redfield again. What's happened with Chris? We will find out in our theories. We've got the 4 main ones, besides Mother Miranda, who is, to the big boss, but we'll probably fight her, but for now we'll just concentrate on the 4. So, of what we've seen, there is what looks like an old hag kind of bent over, but with a headdress and a black cloak or coat or something like that. We have another one that we've seen slightly is a woman in all black with a little puppet thing, or that comes to life. So an animatronic possibly, but again, we don't know. And also, of course, we've had the 2 main ones that we mainly know about, which is, of course, first of all, Heisenberg, who we think is his name. Again, just from all the hints, we've got this kind of, he's probably Heisenberg, but who knows? Maybe there's another one called Heisenberg, and he's the glasses man with the big hammer who controls gears, apparently. Who knows how? And, of course, we have lovely daughters of the other main boss, the 3 vampire ladies. And of course, at number 1, we have the thirst that everyone on the internet has gone mad over. And I would be one of those. I'm a huge fan of heavy metal and gothic culture. So, of course, I am in love with Lady Dimitrescu. There is no finer lady in the land. But again, we'll go more into her with these theories. So yes, this is the story and those are the characters. Now let's get into these theories. And now we get into wild guesses. These are the things just coming up the top of my head. The things that, yeah, I think this could be possible. It might not. It might be. Who the fuck knows? This is just going, yeah, there's a possibility. And luckily there's only 2. So we've only got 2 wild guesses here. So the first one is concerning Heisenberg. So in one of the trailers, we saw him lifting up gears, and this is something we've never seen before in any Resident Evil. All we've ever seen is them actually controlling physical matter, that's, living undead / but so yeah, we've never seen him lift gears, so my hypothesis is either that however the virus has affected him, it has affected the molecular structure of certain metallic objects, and that is how he's able to wield them. Or it was just a coincidence in the trailer and some kind of earthquake was going on. Again, this is wild guesses. Who knows? The other part was concerning the other boss, who we haven't heard much about, in that long black coat, controlling the puppet. This little doll in like a wedding dress is like moving on its own. That I'm hopping down 100% to sophisticated animatronics, and that's basically it. It's just a sophisticated little animatronic. Again, might be, might not, who knows. I'm just throwing it out there, so not much to go on. But with that, we move on. I still say it's all viruses, it's not real. It's just molecular structure. Next up, we have the possibilities, the unsure of. So these are things that I've been thinking about, and I'm thinking, this could be, it's very close to this, but on the other hand, it could just quickly turn around and be the opposite. So the way it differentiates between wild guesses is just thinking off the top of my head, thinking, yeah, it's a thing that can happen, but I'm not eternally putting too much effort in. These are things like, right, these are things like I think they are going to happen, but there's always that leeway of I'm not 100% on it. I'm like, I might have a 51% or a 99%, but I'm never definite. So this is what this section is for. At number 6 is Lucas. We are bringing in Lucas from Resident Evil 7. People have been estimating that Lucas is the brother that Lady Dimitrescu is talking about when she says, "You escaped my little brother's idiot games." I do not believe that. I believe they are very separate. I do not believe that at all. Then again, as I say, I may be wrong. Do not believe me. All these things I'm saying in this video could easily just be like, no, you're fucking wrong. So, we tried to send some information to a third party. So the possibility in this is that this is the third party we're seeing. The people who are controlling all of this with the vampires and the werewolves. This is the data he was sending to about the mold. So again, that will come in. I will come back to this point later on when I get to another section that will come back to this. So again, it's all getting connected very slightly. But this whole thing with Lucas, for me, is just a possibility in the fact of, yes, he could have sent this information to these people, or it could just be something that he fouled at, and that could just been a side quest that just didn't pan out for him, and it just didn't send it to the connections or the third parties, just some random group. Again, Resident Evil takes a lot of things, throws a lot of things away. So again, there's always a possibility. We're not certain, but there's a possibility. I'm saying possibility a lot. And next up, we're getting more into like the interesting section, not just kind of like random theories, but there's a possibility, and this is fascinating. So what I have been speculating for myself is that the hooded lady that we saw with the little wedding doll puppet could be the controller of all of this. It seems very possible that she is like covering, or he is covering her entire body, her entire face, so she is not seen, so she can be let's just say they, so they can be an observer. So they can look for all this, they can send this little animatronic puppet. Again, we're coming back to that. That's what the puppet is for, to like add a little spook, but also, since this puppet can move around, it could probably see a lot of things throughout this entire place without being noticed. Again, a lot of these things really interest me. It's why I'm making this video. So I am very interested to see what this character is doing, as if the person who is controlling this could be this person. But who is it? It could be anyone. They're in a chair. It could be Spencer's back. Not Spencer. Yeah, Spencer. It could be Spencer's back and he's just disguising like that. Or it could be someone else we know. Could it be Ada? Has Ada returned? Again, all these speculations, you're just wondering, like... Again, I've said to myself, like, where is Leon? Where is Claire? But it's like, well, they have already been shown to be doing another a series kind of thing with that, and they've been shown to be in it, so that's where they are. But where is Ada? Could this be Ada secretly watching to like try and help or manipulate? Is she infiltrated? Who knows? But yes, this woman is very interesting, and I cannot wait to see if I'm correct, or I could just be wrong and it's another boss we can't see. Again, there's ifs and buts here. And with this one, now we're getting a little bit more into it as like, this could be what is controlling them. So, I believe that this is the progenitor virus. I believe that this is the progenitor, it's the stairway to the sun, because a lot of it is seeming like that. It seems like the way they're moving and performing, the transformations from like creatures and all this, But again, it seems to be an edited one because they're not acting so very much like them, because they are also, becoming more vampiric and they're becoming more werewolf-like. But they are similar. Again, later in this video, when I get to the more certainties, I will explain why, though, it is so similar to the progenitor. But right now, we're just putting it in there as like, there's a possibility it could be that, or it could be a new kind of strain thing. So for now, we're just laying the seed in this section. Next up are one of the big ones people are talking about is, of course, Chris Redfield. Now, this is one of the main things that shocked so many of the hardcore Resident Evil fans when they first saw this. When they first saw the trailer and he shoots Mia, everyone is blown out of their mind. Why, Chris? Why? We love you! You're not the bad man! You do the best things. You punch boulders. No one else on this planet do we want punching boulders but you, Chris. So why? Why do you do this? Composure. But yes, the main thing with Chris is seeing whether he's good or is he bad. And this is why I have put him in the possibility section rather than the definite section. Because here, I can't decide. He is either good or bad. There is no definition. I'm not definitely saying one or the other at this point because it's really speculating. But we're going to quickly go through the points of why I think he will be bad and the points of why I think he's good. So the bad side can just easily be that he's been infected. That this new virus, this new strand has come into him. He was, again, this is why it's in the possibilities. The fact of he could have been exploring this castle and this village, trying to, stop them as his Umbrella Blue are going out there to remove all traces and finally end the damage that Umbrella has done. And he went here, he slipped up and got infected, and now he's being controlled. So he cannot do anything else. He's been infected and he has to do this. Again, that leads into why the image for Resident Evil 8 is him and a werewolf. Is he a werewolf inside? Is he this werewolf we've been seeing like stalking around? It's something that you can't take off the table. You have to say he might not be the good guy we think he is anymore. He has been controlled. He's been turned into this. So it's all wondering if he has become this demon that we love that they've taken from us. Or is he basically a good guy and all of this has to be a cover? So he's just basically, okay, I've got to make you think this so you can go in and do this and I can secretly, go behind the scenes and try and stop them myself. I'm not actually on their side. They need to have the baby so I can do things. I don't care about too much about this child as long as I can end Umbrella, so maybe there's some conflict there, but who knows? But again, I'm not saying yes. This is why it's in the possibilities. I'm not saying yes or no to either of them. There's a possibility that yes, he is a good guy who's trying to do this, or is a bad guy. We don't know. There's just always that possibility. I mean, even with the bad guy, it could just be that they have something on him and he cannot, and he has to abide by them. So he has to help them. And my theory here is the reason, if he has to do it because he has no choice, besides being infected, will be that they have something of his, and he has to help them in order to save someone else's life. Possibly Jill. Because I'm wondering where the fuck has Jill Valentine been all this time? Because, we love Jill, and Jill hasn't been in it for so long. Last time we saw her was in 5. Resident Evil 5, and it's like, where is this Jill Valentine that we grew up with, who beat the shit out of things, who will shoot down bitches because she is not afraid? We want Jill back. But also that leads into another possibility with, if Chris is a bad guy, is he being controlled by the red orb that controlled Jill? Now, some people have been speculating that because of the necklaces that they all have around their necks. A lot of them are like, they have the red gems, so you're thinking, is this a control thing? Are they being controlled? Now, I'm slightly on board with that, but again, the reason this is in this section is because if you look through a lot of their stuff, they use a lot of gems. A lot of people are wearing necklaces with jewelry like that. So, I mean, go to Resident Evil 4. Most of them just have red gems. But again, is that them being controlled? Or is that just Resident Evil makers love the color red in jewelry? Who knows? But again, people will associate that with Resident Evil 4. It's like, oh, they've got the color gems here. What if this is Las Plagas? Again, who knows until we play. This is why it's in the possibilities. But again, the other reason why I think it could be the reason he's bad is just because of one thing. And the one thing is the first time we saw him in one of those trailers, when he comes in all roided out and he shoots Mia. If you look on his chest, you know, it could very easily be his pecs. It could very easily, I understand why I could be wrong here, it could very easily be his pecs. But it looks to me like a square cutout. It looks to me like there is a section here where they are keeping a red orb so this thing can be hidden so no one knows about it. And with that, does that mean Wesker's back? Has Wesker survived? I would love if Wesker survived, by the way. Just, you know, he's been plotting this since 5, and it's like, ooh, this is very interesting if you've been doing this entire time and you're still alive. Because, you know, things in Resident Evil don't die, so Wesker could very easily come back. But yes, because we've also never seen him in like a turtleneck. He's very covered up. It's like, Chris, you're not usually so covered. We are very liberal with you. But now that you've, what seems to be turned a corner, are we hiding things from you? Again, that's my only speculation, that it looks like it could be hiding stuff, so again, that's why that's here. But that is what I have for Chris Redfield. I could be wrong, I could be right, that's why it's here. Okay, next up, this is one, okay, a few of these on this list, I do kind of pride myself, because I haven't, but then again, I haven't looked on many other people's theories videos, because I want this to be my fresh own take. So I saw as less as I could. If they ever popped up randomly and accidentally saw them, I will admit that. But this one I'm proud of because I keep going, no one else has said this. Am I very good at this? Am I right? Because if I am, holy shit, I've not seen anyone else pick up on this. So in the possibilities, in the demos, we see we're going through this castle, we're seeing things, you know, exploring, and we find notes. And one of those notes lists off the people that have been taken and those that have failed when they've been taken. So they've been successful or they have not been. And one of those names is Mihaela. I believe, again, this is why it's in the possibility, because I could be wrong, it could just be a coincidence, but this is too much of a coincidence, I think, to pass up. I believe Mihaela is Mia. This is a very, very similar name. Mia could easily be a shortened version of this name, which fascinated me the moment I saw it and surprised me that no one else thought about this. That no one else thought about this, because it's like this name is so similar. So maybe, again, the reason this is in this section is because the possibility of she was taken in the past also to this village. And so they experimented on her and she was a success. But this could be one of two things if she was taken in the past. It could have been that she was taken by the agency that we work for, which was The Connections, if they really are The Connections. And since she passed, she was able to go on and do other missions. And this could just be a note that was left behind. The other failures just went away. So, again, this is why I pride myself on this one. The note that they found might not be just, oh, we killed these ones and let these one live, and these are the ones that were successful. Maybe this was a note by the corporation that they were working for. Again, I'll call them a corporation because all of Resident Evil is corporations that they are working for, and Mia was the successful one, and she has been here before. That is a theory I'm very proud of. I will toot my own horn. Even if I'm wrong, I'm like, I like that I came up with that. The other possibility with Mia is why she's here is I do not believe she's dead. Now, the possibility of this is a lot of people have been speculating that Mia is either Lady Dimitrescu or Mother Miranda. They've all been thinking that this was all a ploy for her. I am not going to go with that theory. I will not deny it's a possibility, but I will not stick for that in this video. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Because what I believe with Mia, again, we'll get fully into this when we discuss her child in the definite section. Again, I'm going to the definites later. But I am in definite belief. I'm in possible belief that when Chris shot her, Chris knew that she wouldn't die, because within her is still the mold. And the mold from Resident Evil 7, we know, healed people. It kept them alive, it kept them sustained, so she was able to regenerate. So Chris killed her, knowing that she could regenerate, and is either infiltrating or has been taken and is on the evil side, because again, she's done that before. But again, we don't know too much. But again, other people have speculated that she's Lady Dimitrescu, because The only reason for that, though, is because on Resident Evil's TikTok, they posted this little video.
How did I go from this to this?
And that girl is Mia, because I've looked at all the other trailers. She's the one reading the story. Ethan's talking to her as Mia, so does Mia become Lady Dimitrescu? I don't think so. I just think they're teasing us to throw us off. So, those are my theories on Mia. Again, it's a possibility, but I'm not 100%. I am just speculating that she was killed by Chris, but he knew that she would come back to life via the regeneration of the mold. And we're coming up to my final point in this section, and that would be what Mother Miranda does. Not who she is, because that's in the definite pile. And I'm proud of that when I get there. But there was a line that really interested me when we were like playing throughout the trailers, and it was that Mother Miranda has always protected us. And that line for me has created a bunch of possibilities, which is why it's here. And it could be one of two. It could either be that, yes, she has protected and nothing bad has ever happened to the village, and she's always been the one that has claimed to have stopped something. But my other possibility, I think it is, which is the one I'm leaning more towards, but not 100% sure on, because of course I have the other idea, is that she is the one who is, either she is the one, or the one in the black dress, as we've seen hidden, possibly, who knows, again, is working with the scientists, of course, because this is all virus, this is all underground, them working something out, is that she unleashes creatures. Now, whether they accidentally break out, as they do in Resident Evil, they always make something accidentally gets free, and she has come and stopped them because she knows how they work, and she has the serums or the know-how in order to cancel them out. Or the other good theory that I love is that she purposely lets them out for tests, because that's all Resident Evil is. Bad scientists who do their tests in order to see if it works. I am fascinated with this theory, so that is my idea on what Mother Miranda is doing. Not who she is, just what she's doing, because we'll get on to who she is. So yes, those are all my possibilities. That's what I think might or might not happen. It's all up in the air. I'm just speculating, and I'm not too fussed. Again, I'm not fussed at all if these are wrong. If they get wrong, fine, I'll enjoy the journey. It's just, I wanted to put my hat out there. But with that, we move on to what I definitely believe. With these definites, I say again, these could very easily be wrong. I accept that. I accept they could very easily be wrong. But I feel very good about them. I feel very good, and that's why they're in the definite column. So with my definites, I have 5 of these, and I will be doing a countdown. So here we go. At number 5, I do not believe that the people that we see in this, any of these characters, are from 1958. Now, what I mean by that is, in one of the trailers, one of the demos, there was a piece of paper that talked about someone who worked at that castle during 1958. It talks like the same sisters, the same lady of the house, Dimitrescu, and it says about all these scary things like, ooh, they wanted to bring me down there. Now, with this theory, it could be a very obvious one. I don't know. Again, I haven't looked too much. People who are seeing this are probably going, yeah, no one thinks they're from 1958. You idiot. Why do you think these are the ones that are still alive? We've all figured that out. Or it could be, oh yeah, that's a theory you've got. Again, I don't know. I'm an idiot. It could be one of either way. I'm either stupid because I didn't pay attention, or I've just created a theory. Either way, I'm fine with. I know that. But no. I am saying they are not the same. Dimitrescu, her vampire ladies, are not the same from 1958. Now, what you have to do is look at the demos. Throughout this entirety of the demos, we see like these pictures of what looks like a Lady Dimitrescu before she became this tyrant. And we also see the 3 sisters with the exact same names. Bella, Daniela, and Cassandra. Obviously, these 4 ladies did live in this time back then. But again, if we go back to places like 1958, there can always be this talk about, oh, up in these lands there was rituals, vampiric rituals that we believed happened, which again, even till to this day, we still have speculation that this kind of thing is going on. The maid can always be listening and believing, oh, they're doing some vampiric experiments, which they might have been doing back then, but again, not actually being vampires. But also, some say, well, if you look at the portraits, Lady Dimitrescu does look a lot like herself. The sisters don't. Which is why to people that think, oh yes, these people are from 1958, it's like, they're obviously not, because they look nothing like their photos. It's like, well, times change, people change, and it's like, one, that's not the way Resident Evil goes, and two, they wouldn't change that kind of difference. But the reason I believe they acting the way they are is the way the viruses in all the games have always acted. They replicate the way their host, the genes in their host. And so these could very easily be their ancestors, which is why they look exactly the same. The tyrant they've got, the host they use was the woman who is an ancestor of Dimitrescu. The three vampires were either, found, just three random ladies, or they are the ancestors, which I believe they are the ancestors of these three ladies, which is why they have the same name. And again, with the virus implanted, their brains developed believing that they truly are these beings, and so they have personified it. Yes, this is who I am. I've been living for this long, when really they possibly only been living for a few years. Hell, even a few months they could have just existed. Because with this family, we were also seeing this, this symbol of their house, which we're seeing again on like plinths and stones and in paintings and in pictures and around the sisters' necks and on a coffin. So it's always believable. It's like, oh, they're from 1958. No, they have adopted that and used it here. And another point to back that up is just in trailers they always seem to show this shot where he goes to a coffin, which could have shown which could be them showing the actual real life body of these people that has been put, that are, dead. They're the corpse. They are corpses in this coffin, and he takes out a knife. So it's like, oh, this is their family knife. They're obviously not these people because these guys are in the coffin. So again, we use that strong point of this coffin with this corpse means that they are just, the scientific replications or human hosts with it, And the same can go with like when we see like some of the other monsters, like the werewolves. We've had Cerberus dogs. The virus in this new game looks like it's been developed and worked on and perfected a hell of a lot more. So the dogs could easily have now evolved, been put into actual people, and they've become werewolves. Again, that's why I'm like, these are like the definites. I fully believe that they've implanted them and they are now like the Cerberus, but the way it transformed their body is they became the dogs and the werewolves. And similarly, like when we go into the dungeon, we see vampiric ones. They have, again, this gene from their ancestors. So they've become these, like, either monsters or it's the fact of they've been trying to experiment with these humans the way they work with the vampire ladies, but it didn't work so well, and this is what you've got. I lean towards the ones that these are failed experiments, but they can still do things for them. The other thing people say is like, well, aren't they vampires? They seem to be drinking blood. And if we think about this entire game, if you think about it one way, it can answer a lot of questions. Think of it as science. Go basic to science if you get rid of it. And this could easily be the drinking of blood is what is sustaining this virus. It is constantly needing it. Luckily, adds to the vampire effect, but this blood is what is able to sustain them. They've got this state, and Umbrella, or whoever is in charge, has been able to come up with the fact of the reason we haven't been able to do this is because these bodies need blood, and we've never given them blood, so if they take it, they can remain in the state and have a more aware being of themselves, and so they are able to move more and do better. Again, this is what I'm like, I'm pretty sure. So to sum that up, I believe 100% that they are not from 1958, that they have been implanted into their ancestors, and this is now who they have become, and they fully believe that this is who they are, and they need blood to sustain. The werewolves are like Cerberus, they've just been injected, and the vampires are just failed, but they left them down there because they could still do things if anyone gets there. Now, my number 4 definite. This contains the symbol we've been seeing a lot of, and when we saw the showcase, they spoke about this like being, oh, we didn't know if we want to show this because it might give too much away. And speculations rose, and here is mine. What I believe the symbol to be, I believe the symbol is Rose. The baby they taken is Rose. And the reason for this is, I believe that Rose is the final piece of the puzzle. Again, it seems very obvious because, the baby was taken away. Why would they want to take this baby? Is it just to trick Ethan? No. It's because whatever in this baby's blood And whatever's in this system is the one thing that can finally finish this experiment and make them whole. Or this ritual they keep talking about. Again, ritual is bullshit. The ceremony, sorry. Their ceremony, this final ceremony, is their final experiment. And with Rose, their baby, they can finally answer it. And if you look at the symbol, it looks a hell of a lot like a child. But the other thing that makes me believe it's Rose is because if you look at it, the way the boils or the growths that are coming out of it seem very similar to the Resident Evil 7 mold. That mold looks so much like this image, and it has what looks like mold on its body. And through Ethan and Mia having sex, they created a child, and this child in its system could have Mia's infected DNA. But with that infected DNA, they figured out through some course, again, that's not the definite is what I believe this symbol is, and that baby is the one thing that can finally, make this happen. This is why they haven't gone after Mia or gone after Ethan, because they needed that child. And the other definite about this is what everyone else has probably suspected, is it looks a hell of a lot like the Umbrella logo. Now this can be wrong or right. We're all definitely going with this is most likely what it is, because as we've seen in this image, Umbrella's pictures are all over the place. Umbrella, 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 umbrella. We've just seen the image everywhere. So most likely, we're all saying that, yeah, either Umbrella is still alive and in charge of this, or it's an old facility that has been found. But this symbol, again, it's in the style of Umbrella. And my definite is that this baby is Rose, and she is the final bit in her DNA to make this experiment work, and finally they're... Gotta keep quiet, I'll explain in a moment. There's further down on this list, there's a reason about all this virus and everything, I believe, so we'll get to that. But yes, this Rose's baby, and she's needed for the final experiment. We move on to number 3. This one, everyone already guessed, but I just wanted to say, just because it's a brilliant definite, is first of all, just because we need to talk about her. So let's go on. Lady Dimitrescu. Now, we can all agree. We all love her. I can even admit that throughout this game, the first moment we see her, am I running away? No. I will most likely die in the first minutes of seeing her. And I'll do it again. And again. And again. And again. And again. You get the picture. Because we love her so much. But, I mean, just look at her. How could you not fall in love with that image? I'm a lover of heavy metal. I'm a lover of gothic culture. She is just... I've been wanting this all along. It's like, oh, you think it's scary? Nope, this is the dream I've had. So yes, we've seen her throughout, and of course there's been... What was that? No, go away from that. No, go away. No, go. No. Okay, we're just going back to her. We're talking about Lady Dimitrescu. We're not going... If you want to go to that alley, go yourself. We stay here. So my definites on Lady Dimitrescu is what we've all probably guessed right now, is that she is definitely a tyrant. Her skin, her height, the claws that come out of her fingers, she is definitely a tyrant. But for me, the reason I wanted to put it here as a definite is because of how much I love the idea of this, is that she is the perfected tyrant. Not in that way. Get out of the gutter. I mean in a scientific term, not biology. Get out! In the fact of they've been working on this tyrant for so long, we have finally made the tyrant. We finally have a tyrant who is aware, who is vocal, who has a working brain, who knows around her, who is able to do things, but also think for herself while still under being control. They've been working on this tyrant for so long, they have finally perfected it. And the reason I put it in here is just because I love that idea. Because we've been decades of Resident Evil, literally decades, because 20, we have been seeing so many tyrants, and they've just been clueless, and they've just been going after them, so it's just amazing to finally see one who is able to perceive the world around her, and do things, and think for herself, and be able to have emotions, and I think that is going to be so interesting to go through. So that is why I wanted to put this here, because I'm definitely sure she's the perfected tyrant, and I believe that is a great idea. And you've got the necklace around her neck that shows the flower, the same flower from the Valley, whatever, Stairway to the Sun, which is the progenitor virus. And that flower really becomes a symbol into which virus is here, because people saying Las Plagas, whereas I would go, no, it's the progenitor. For one, with the flower that we've seen there, but also the fact of the progenitor virus is also known as the mother virus. Again, a massive link into why I'm going, no, this is definitely what it is, because it is associated with it. Mother Miranda, mother virus. The necklace around her could just be a random flower, but also it's the symbol of the progenitor virus. And she's using this progenitor virus for all of this. So it's like, it cements it, and I say definite so much. Also, just to put in a little bit that the certain group might like, is that if we think about it, the way Resident Evil games have gone, the main guys always turn into like larger, different creatures, so we could see a lot different of Lady Dimitrescu, and usually the way tyrants have to do that is get out of their clothes. Just saying. Later in this game, Lady Dimitrescu might give us everything we want. Who knows what she's like with that hat off. Move on! Okay, we have come up to the final 2 definites. And at number 2, the reason I put this at number 2 is just because I think number 1 is like a real big one. But number 2 is also giant, but I always believe 1 edged it out. So here we go, number 2. Number 2, who is Mother Miranda? And this is like a recent one I just made like a few days ago. Who I believe Mother Miranda is. I've been speculating so long on this. I went with, is she Jill Valentine? Is this how Jill comes back in? Because, she's just been away so long. She was like trying to get healed or, therapy or whatever. And has this just been, no, this is where she actually went. But I kind of ditched that when I had the other idea of who I think this person is. So, now most people won't know this character, which is why I think they're trying to bring her into this, possibly. Again, this is something I'm going to definitely stick with this, but as I've said with all of these, I could be wrong. But I'm going to say right now, I'm cementing it right here. Mother Miranda. Again, I want to say this, I have not seen any of the leaks or anything, so this is off my own brain. If I'm right, oh my god. If I'm wrong, I understand. Mother Miranda is Maria Gomez. Now, for those that don't know who she is, there was a animated movie. But Maria Gomez in this she was originally just a general guest to again, the basics you need to know. Maria was just a simple basic guest to a wedding who survived a missile attack that was on the wedding. And in doing so, she was rebuilt with all these experiments, which gave her, a bit of strength, a bit of speed and all this, and, other similar things. But that's not what I want to focus on. What I want to focus on is what made me think this is her, is the fact of in that accident, she lost the use of her right eye. Now you think, oh, that's not much, that's nothing. But this is what clinched it for me that I am going in full on saying this is Maria. It's for the fact of, let's start with number 1. Look at her headdress. In that small little second we saw her, her headdress has an eye. When we look at certain art that's come out from Resident Evil, it shows her mask, and her right eye is being shown. That's the main thing we are looking at. But also, in the demos we've seen, when we go throughout the castle, the main thing that they have kept in all the demos is we've always seen you had to get a ring with an eyeball and place it into this statue's right eye. And that is what's cementing me in saying Mother Miranda is Maria Gomez. If not, that's a hell of a fucking coincidence. Whatever you decided she is, makers of this game, Resident Evil 8, I'm sorry I said that. I'm not good with information, which is why I'm shit here. No. It's very coincidental. So, it's just, I believe that Mother Miranda is Maria Gomez. But the other factor that makes me believe it's Maria is that she, again, in Vendetta, she gets away. She is the one who survives after all. She's defeated by Leon, Chris, and another woman. Again, sorry, I'm terrible with names. But so in that and after that, she wants vengeance. And she can get vengeance on Chris Redfield. Again, this is more cementing for why. This is why I believe that Maria Gomez is Mother Miranda. She wants revenge on Chris Redfield. She is tricking him into doing his bidding, or she infected him. So she is getting back at Chris. This is her vengeance. All of this, because she seems to be the one in charge, Mother Miranda. So, again, possibly, that's why in another section, is Mother Miranda in charge? Is it the hooded woman? Who knows? All the connections are there. She wants revenge on Chris Redfield. The eye is very much prominent, and she is very talented with her skills that have been augmented into her. So that is why I am saying at number 2, my definite is that Maria Gomez is Mother Miranda. There is eyes on her headdress, and there's always that thing with the ring, and it's all about the eye, and she lost the use of her. So I'm cementing that in here. Maria Gomez is Mother Miranda. And with that, we move on to number 1. Now with that, to me, I'm thinking, what could top number 2? How could you have something more? And this, for me, is like, this feels like this is a theory that no one's come up with, either because it's completely outlandish, or I have thought too much about this. I went too deep. But here we go. Number 1, my definite that I'm locking in, my definite number 1 theory about this is that we are not in Spain. Now, that might not sound like much, but from all the things we've seen, the main thing is that we are thinking this is a rural village in Spain, the currency. But here's the thing that made me clinch. I was thinking, when I first tried to think about, okay, where do these people live? Who is doing this? What's going on? And this is the thing that made me think, no. And that is very simple. And the very simple thing that I picked up on, I was like, oh, I'm proud of this if I'm right. Oh, motherfuckers. So, here I go. The main reason that I do not believe it's in Spain is what... Sorry, I'm getting the currencies mixed up. I do apologise. Romania. The reason I do not believe it is Romania is one very simple thing that I figured out during demos. Where are the accents? None of those villagers have Romanian accents. None of them sound like they are not from America. In Resident Evil games, no matter where they've gone, they've spoke English, but they've at least had their accent of their country of origin. Here, they've had zilch. There is none. They are speaking American. I believe either Ethan has been transported to a place that they've told him to convince him is Romania, or for the trailers, they have put in Lee as their currency in order to fool us, because companies have done that before. I mean, just look at like Avengers. We believe that in the Infinity War, the great battle was Hulk running towards them. Turns out it was the Hulk Buster. Because like also when we see the Duke, there was a note in one of the demos that says that on a date they had business with him, which again feels like they're either just trying to justify having this merchant appear anywhere, or he's actually, rather than Resident Evil 4, he's actually part of the game. There's an actual meaning to him, so there is that. But also, the theory of that is that if they are working with him, they can also influence him to make Ethan think that he's in Romania by saying, oh yes, give me lei that you'll find about the place and any other, treasures you find. So he could also very easily be in on the act too. This is my main definite thing. This is a thing I will not budge on. If I'm wrong, understandably, but I'm not going to be wrong, because they are not in Romania. But where could they be? Why go for all this trouble? And this is a thing that isn't as definite as they're not in Romania, but it's more definite, but it is in the definite pile. And it was from one tiny little detail I watched when I replayed Resident Evil 1. And that was in Resident Evil 1, when you go down to a certain area, there is a coffin. Now, I was thinking, well, this doesn't seem like anything, maybe they're just trying to make it spooky. But there are vampires in this, and it was kind of relating to me. I was going back and forth between this idea, and it kind of makes sense. This could very well easily be another location of the Arklay Mountains. Because I've said this before, I believe that this game is coming full circle. I believe like this is the end of something. The games will continue, but this is the end of something, and they're trying to make something big. And this is what I believe it is, because it feels like a final thing. And with all the clues we've seen, the logo looks like Umbrella and the Spencer family crest. It's in a an environment that's very dark in a certain woods, and there's a castle, there's other places. You never went throughout the entire Arklay Mountains. You just had Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1, where you went to the 2 mansions. And that is why, oh god, I am so... Again, I'm not too definite on the Arklay Mountains, but it is in my definite, and like, I will go down with that. I will say it is definite here and now. So that is my number one definite what I believe. They are not in Romania, because those accents are nowhere to be seen. These are Americans. Whether the villagers are the scientists pretending, just so they can fool him, or they also truly believe where they are, they just use the currency of lei, but they don't think it's wrong, it's just their village currency. Again, could be either of those two, but I am sticking to they are not in Romania. They are in the Arklay Mountains. Again, I still could be very wrong. I could start this game and just be there like, wow, I was wrong. I am not doing this. But I would still stay there as my number one, because and it's a very simple thing, simply because there are no accents. And I believe to myself, that is huge. So those are my definites. Some stuff that you might have thought, hey, have you got a theory about this? I probably haven't, just because I'm either leaving it up to speculation, or I don't want to say this or that, because I just feel like I don't have enough information for my own self. Like, who's really in control of all this? Like I've just said, is it Wesker? Is Umbrella back properly? Is it like some other person who used to work there who's using it again, who's found it? It's like, again, that also, I do just love the surprise. I love the surprise of it. So this I want to keep and be like, oh, I just want to be there like, oh my god, this is what it was. So that is the main thing I like. I would say I have no clue, and I'm not going to guess just because I want the fun of it. It's like, who is in charge? We will see. And very quickly, just my interpretation of how similar this is to Resident Evil 4 and what that might mean. So, again, people have pointed out so much ever since we first saw the first trailer how similar this is to Resident Evil 4. I mean, everything that's in it, like, down to the basics, down to, like, what is exactly the same. Like, even going very simple, it's like you can break the way in Resident Evil 4 we could break everything that was glass. Same here, as I've seen in the demos, you break everything that's like in a glass casing or anything that's glass. Special crates that you have in 8, they have jars that you could just break around. Again, very similar. When the old witch says, oh, the bell tolls, again, a big thing number 4 is the bell tolls when Ada rings it and they all run away. Again, very similar. Again, down to the, like, even just simply like, oh, there's a shiny thing, if you shoot it, a treasure will come down and you can pick it up. Again, just the same. But I mean, like, you've also got, like, the merchant and the fact it's set in a village with a castle and what looks like an underground factory. Again, so much of this is the same as Resident Evil 4. And people are speculating, does this mean Las Plagas and Illuminados has come back? Again, it's a possibility if they're trying to connect Resident Evil 4, because Resident Evil 4 was more standalone with just, like, Ada stealing the serum. That was, like, basically one of the main things. Apart from that, it's just on its own. So people think, maybe we're trying to bring it into the universe. Or is it trying to be like, okay, we're just doing Resident Evil 4, it's like Resident Evil 8, so these two are majorly connected and they're not connected to the rest of Resident Evil minus Chris. But in my opinion, I would say it's just that they're replicating the game. For my idea, I just think, they sat down and they went, okay, what was our best game? Resident Evil 4, right, let's put those mechanics in again, let's put... again, the suitcase, the merchant, the shooting shiny things, the breaking. Again, that's what I truly believe. It is very similar. Like, even though it's in a village. Like, for me, I think the similarities aren't enough to make it a connection. For me, I think the similarities are just that. They're just that similar. Just to, we'll redo our best game. So that's my opinion. It still could be related massively to Resident Evil 4. I'm just saying that's the way I think about it. So I'm kind of on that line, but then again, I may play it and be like, oh my god, this is Resident Evil 4 because that's what it is. But again, maybe they're just, with the way 6 went, they're just trying to build back up, and they did great with 7, so they're just, okay, we've got to keep it on that same route. So to me, that's the similarities and the reasons of Resident Evil 4's similarity. So yes, those are my theories. I have put them out there, and this is just what I think is going to happen. As I said, I'll be completely fine if these are all wrong, and I won't be surprised if they're wrong. It's like, wow, I did not get that right. But if I do get some right, believe me, there will be a lot of gloating. I will be making another video going, oh, whoa, you didn't know. I did, because I'm a smart motherfucker. So yeah. So yes, thank you so much for watching this, for whoever is watching this, even if it only gets, which it most likely will, a few views. I am just happy that people, are like paying attention. So it's like, hey, you there. Thank you. You are nice. I like that. So yes, thank you to anyone who's watched this, anyone see this, and anyone gets any ideas from it. Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village will of course be coming out on May 7th. For me, here and now, that's 2 days away. I am super excited, cannot wait. I've not been this hyped about a game in so long, so I am so excited that it's coming, and I'm so excited it's here, and all the thing that's going to come from it. I, again, love Gothic, I love heavy metal, so this game really speaks to me in terms of, pop culture and what I love, so it's interesting to see. And of course, Lady Dimitrescu, I am here for you all the time. But yes, if you're interested, I do have a Twitch. It is, again, also Dante Norks. I will be streaming it on there. The moment it comes out on Friday, I will wake up, I will get the game, I will wait for it to download. I like a hard copy, so I wait for it to download. I will just mince about. Sadly, my windows are getting done, so I've got to wait for them to be done, and then I can play it when they go. So as soon as they're gone, I'm like, right, boom, boom, I am playing it straight away. I will get a time, a rough estimate, most likely sometime after 5 p.m, which again is upsetting me because I like to play it throughout the entire day. But we can't, so if you're interested, I hope you will join me in this new adventure of a new Resident Evil game. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked this, go down there and give it a little like. Be like, I like you. Go down and press the subscribe. Again, not my junk. You go past my junk and you go to the subscribe button. You press subscribe because you're wonderful people. Follow me everywhere just so I can be known by some people. And I will see you next time, whenever that is, because I barely make videos anymore because editing is a ball ache. But I will try. I will see how the future comes, if I'm still here. Lady Dimitrescu got me. I ain't complaining. Dante Norks! It could just be a direct sequel to Resident Evil 7, and the mold's back. Simple as.